Hey guys, welcome to the Challenge Podcast. I'm Coach Steve.
And I'm Coach Nick, and we're going to be talking about everything fitness, health, and the challenge.
Let's get on with the show.
Welcome back to the Challenge Podcast, everyone. I'm Coach Nick, and I am here today with one of our awesome top 10 May finalists in the Maxine's Challenge, Carmen Woodenberg. How are you, Carmen?
Hey, Nick. Yeah, good, thanks. And thanks for having me on this podcast. Very exciting.
Thanks for being here. I'm very excited about your transformation. I think it's particularly good because it shows a lot of muscular development, which I love to see. So it wasn't just about a weight loss journey for you. It was also about developing those muscles. So just tell me a bit first. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but just tell me a bit about yourself and what you do for work and how you got involved in the challenge.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a 45-year-old mother married to Darren. I live in Perth, Western Australia. I'm married to Darren for 20 years. And for work, I'm a chartered accountant. I work in the oil and gas industry in Perth as a finance manager. So yeah, I've got two girls, age 17 and 7.
Two girls. Oh, me too. So yeah, I can relate.
Yeah.
But a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old. So being in Melbourne, they're in lockdown. We're in lockdown. So I guess WA is a little bit, I saw the football last night, actually. I saw that it's pretty good there. So
yes, we're pretty much living almost like a pre-COVID life here. We're very fortunate. I do feel for over East, where you guys are in lockdowns, but yeah, it's pretty much life is kind of normal here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Look, I'm happy for anyone who's living normal. Like I want everybody to be living like that. So yeah, keep it like that.
Yes.
So tell me, how did you get into the challenge? What made you first get involved with the challenge?
Right. So basically, the first time I ever signed up for Maxine's was in 2017. And I think that's all I pretty much did was sign up and save the programs on my PC because timing for me, frame of mind and mindset just wasn't right then. I was really overweight. My journey has taken me 2 years of weight loss to get to this point. So my husband's done the private Max challenges for years, I would say in excess of 7 years or so. So he's a big fan. I've even used the Max supplements along the way, just toying with them. And so it's a household name, Max, in our home. So I started 2 years ago. I was finishing up my studies and the years before that, I really was packing on the weight. So 2 years ago, I weighed 96 kilos. It was really a rock bottom time for me. I just lost my dad middle of 2019 to a dementia over a 2-year period, and he was living overseas, so really struggled. And at the end of that time as well, finishing up my chartered accountant studies while working full time. So life was hectic, turning to food, to comfort myself, etc., and just cope. As I said, raising 2 young girls and running the house while working full time was a challenge in itself. So what I did was I signed up to a local boot camp. 2 of my friends I happened to bump into after a while encouraged me to come to a boot camp with them. So that's what I started doing. Ended up really enjoying it right from the start and stuck it out 5 times a week. And I did a bit of mini challenges within that group where, I dropped progressively 24 kilos over 2 years. So that took me up to about April this year.
That's brilliant. Well done for that. Yeah.
Well, thank you. But it was very different to what I was trying in my earlier years. Like in my 30s, I always, had the odd 15, 20 kilos extra, packing it on. But I used to do all the sort of quick fixes, the really radical stuff where you're fasting for 12 hours a day and you're just having a big meal in the morning and night, that sort of stuff. The weight used to come off, but it never stayed off.
When you're younger, you can sort of get away with that sort of stuff. And it's like things will budge and you can do that for a little while. I mean, I don't want to say that, but it's just true. Yeah. And then, as you get older, as you have children, as your hormones change a little bit, you can try that sort of stuff and you go, oh my gosh, that hasn't worked. What am I going to do?
That's right. Yeah. So basically in April this year, I had about 10 kilos more to go on my journey. But I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I was a softer, smaller version of the former me. There was no muscle definition, if you like. It was just, I thought, I'm 45 years old. Is this the end of my journey? Can I look different? Can I actually build some muscle and have some definition? So my husband said, you got to do Maxine's. I've been telling you for years. And so I remembered a few years back when I just signed up and that's all I did. I remember the thing that put me off was me being lazy to do the exercises and just relying on the food plan. And obviously, mindset was different this time. I wasn't scared of exercise. I was working hard. I was training, 5 times a week. But he said, you need to do a different type of training. You need to get into this program and just give it a go. What have you got to lose? And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I signed up for Maxine's for the May challenge, nice and early, and then joined the Facebook group. And then I'd come across the mentoring tab and people discussing that just before the challenge started. And Sue Gullemeyer commented on one of the members in that group, and she said, you can private message me if you're looking for mentoring support. So I thought, well, I'm going to hijack this. I messaged Sue and I said, hey, I just wanted you to tell me a bit more about this mentoring program. So immediately she copied Laura Bakic in, and they had a chat with me about my story, and I sent them some photos of me and I said, look, I know my age, I'm probably like a late starter with all this. And they're like, nah, that means nothing, and they started telling me about ladies in their 50s that they've been working with that have made top 50 and all these concepts. And I was like really excited, and I thought I'm in the right hands here, because I was thinking it's massive for me to want to achieve these things. And they were like, nah, you've just been doing too much cardio. You've been eating too little. Actually, I was on about 13 or 1400 calories, over the last 2 years. That's how I would drop that weight. But I was hungry and I was tired as well. I was feeling like physically worn. So they said it's a whole different ballgame, but trust the process and stop only looking at the scale, which for me was the big thing. Every morning, wake up, weigh myself, and I'm doing well if the number's coming down. And they said, well, if you want, because I told them I've got like these, saddlebags, and I've got ripply thighs and I'm soft midsection and that. And they said, well, that will change, but you got to trust the process, and you got to look at photos. You've got to stop only looking at the scale. So I said, okay, let's do this. So that's what actually kicked me off. And I'm, they welcome me into the Lasso squad, and I'm a part of that today still. And it's really awesome, that extra layer of accountability and support that I've got, for the last challenge and this one.
Wow, that's so good. And I know Laura and Sue, they're amazing with what they do and the way that they can sort of facilitate that muscle growth, because there's always that little bit of fear around anything. We've all been taught to bring the numbers down, get smaller. Everything has to be less and less and less and less. And we need more women to be able to actually say, I've been through it. It's contrary to everything that you probably think that you should do, but give it a go. And then when you come out the other side, you go, oh my gosh, wow, I'm eating more food. I look leaner. I'm stronger. I feel better.
Absolutely.
It's like you have to cross through that bridge, and to have people actually around that can talk you through it, I think is very helpful.
Absolutely, it was. And look, we have the weekly weigh-ins, the accountability is there, the photos, they're just throwing the encouragement our way. And we've got over 30 ladies in the group now. And, it's just amazing, just the day-to-day struggles. And I did tell them both, I said it was a really humbling experience for me, because, like I'd been doing 5 mornings a week, and I thought, oh, I was fit, like I can do a good couple of burpees, and still come up standing. And also being organized in the kitchen, like meal prep was a big part of me losing that first 24 kilos over the 2 years. So I thought I was organized. I thought I'm good. And they just showed me what next level is, like Sue's freezer and, waking up as a shift worker and getting steps in early hours of the morning before she even starts work. That's real examples. They're living, they're walking the walk. Same with Laura. I'm fortunate I live in Perth. So Monday mornings, she invited me to come climb some stairs locally to where I live. So she got in my head about what I should be doing, just sort of even on the exercise side of things, sort of undoing a little bit of my fixed ideas in my head, like you're saying, and looking at, their results. I was just wowed by it, and I trusted the process. And I think that was the biggest breakthrough for me, just for the future as well, just to know that this is the way forward. There's just you're not going to have quick fixes. It's not about 6 weeks or 12 weeks. This is my life now. I feel confident. I'd never been I joined up a commercial gym in past years, but just only used the treadmill or the walker. I was just never confident enough to touch the weights. And at week 9 of the last challenge, I actually joined my husband's gym where he goes. And I was, like he said to me, you're doing so well. But I reckon if you come to the gym, you're going to actually accelerate that muscle growth in those last 4 weeks, because we limited what we have at home, a couple of dumbbells. But I was too shy, and I was still conscious of not being able to do the exercises properly and people staring at me in a commercial gym. So I've joined up at week 9 and I haven't stopped. Like, I just go there and I love it now, and I'm confident. I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing. Steve's videos, I screenshotted them because, if there was an exercise I wasn't sure, I just still it at that point where he's, showing the exact move, and I kept those notes with me. And yeah, it's been excellent, honestly.
That's
this whole
so
experience.
So good to hear. So just to go on to that mindset shift again, because it's so crucial, because once you're through that mindset shift, it's like you can't believe that some people are just so stubborn to not go through the mindset shift. But what was it exactly? Can you remember an exact point where you said, right, I am going to abandon the ideas of just doing more and more and more of something that's going to exhaust me, and then go over into, say, weight training and try a whole different thing? So what did they say to you? What happened? What was the mindset shift where you said, right, that's it?
Where I started looking for something else, and where I said, I'm going to try this. End of my last series of challenges, and when I got to April, I'd done a DEXA scan, and I'd lost 6 kilos over that previous 8 weeks, but I'd gone up in body fat percentage.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot believe this. I ate mostly clean. I was 80-90% clean eating, tracking every calorie, all my meals. I really had given it my all, because I thought, this is it. This is that final stretch to get to my ideal goal weight. And my body fat percentage went up, and I dropped muscle, and I was so deflated. So at that point, when I signed up for Maxine's, I was like, I'm giving this my all. And then talking to Laura and Sue, when obviously I'd seen all the top 50 transformations, all the pictures, and when I saw that some of the women were over 50, and here I was at 45 thinking, it's probably I've reached my ceiling, there probably is not much that can be done. And I've got this all this weight I've lost. I've got a bit of extra skin, saggy. But looking at those pictures, I was blown away. And I kept on just thinking, these are real people. I'm now chatting to 2 people that were in that finalists. I'm actually speaking to them. This is real. It's not Photoshop pictures or anything like that. So it was at that point where I was actually desperate for a change, because I thought, right, why is my body fat percentage going up when I know that? And so I wasn't sure what the future would hold if I kept going down that road. I was just like, I need to try something different. And of course, it did help having hubby in my ear saying, been telling you for a while, you need to try this. Don't be scared of weights, and don't be scared of a bench. It's not that intimidating. So yes. Yeah, I gave my full trust into the process from the beginning.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to explain it a little bit and unpack it for people that are listening that may be going, what do you mean you were counting calories and everything was perfect, but your body fat went up? What do you mean your weight went down? Because some people are that they just equate everything with weight going down. So I'll just quickly explain about how muscle is expensive tissue for the body to maintain. It's like an investment, and it is the first thing that's going to go if your calories are too low. So if you're doing any kind of stuff where you are in a calorie deficit for a long point in time and you're not weights training, but you're doing other things, your weight may go down, but your body fat may go up just to protect you, because it doesn't know, your body doesn't know if you're being chased by a lion or if you're under stress. It just doesn't know. So it's going to go, oh my gosh, are we going to go out into the woods and be away from food for a long time? I'm going to just keep this fat. It's very smart, the body. So that's what happens. Just in case anyone's listening to this and going, I want to be like Carmen, I don't understand, I'm trying to watch my food and things like that. Of course, to get lean, you need to also watch your food, but it's a very delicate balance. You don't want to drop those calories too low, because muscle is the first to go. So that's just an explanation for anyone that's listening and going, I want to be like Carmen, because Carmen is #goals now.
Thank you.
So how are your muscles going now? Are they?
Yeah, look, I am still loving it. Like, I'm a deadlifter and I'm working on my lower body. Well, I know you can't single out. I think you can't single out. But yeah, my lower body is the kind of the area that needs a lot of improvement. I think I showed more muscle in my upper body quicker in the last challenge. And now I know I can achieve I know that nice big quads and glutes are on my wish list. And I'm just giving it my all in this next program. I'm doing the advanced body split program this round.
Excellent.
And I'm really enjoying that. Yeah.
And how are your legs recovering in that? Do you feel like they recover quite well, or are they getting sore?
Look, I do feel like the next day a little bit of tenderness in my thighs and my hamstrings, etc. But there's no DOMs as such. I listened to Steve's talk the other day and I was thinking, how come I don't have DOMs? Because some machines in the gym, it's the first time I'm using them, etc. And when he explained about joint soreness versus, DOMs, it made a lot of sense because, I do sometimes get tender in the wrists or, the knees and that. And I thought, that makes sense. Always learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look, everybody, we're all beginners, even though like I've been through everything there is to go through, but I still feel like a beginner. Every time I deadlift, you set up, you get the bar. It's like this relationship with the barbell, and every time it's going to be slightly different depending on how you're feeling, what feels recovered, what doesn't. You'll be happy to know that leg growth in women is actually technically easier than upper body because we've got strong legs, because we're supposed to, give birth and be active and squat while we're giving birth. So, that won't take too long. Glutes do take a while to grow though, I must say, simply because sometimes our mind to muscle activation on the glutes isn't there. So, if you find in the next 6 or so months they're not growing, just reflect on that and just that sort of time under tension and stuff. But anyway, that's very exciting. So what has been your biggest challenge while doing the challenge that you've overcome?
Just the habits. I think I was already in a good stream of habits. I can't stress that enough. For me, it wasn't about thinking I'm doing something new, and it was just about learning from that previous 2 years about building good habits with meal preps on Sundays. I was already doing that to a certain extent. It's about setting that alarm. If I'm not in the gym, if I'm not up at 5 a.m. and at the gym inside at 5:30, I've got 2 kids to get off to school. So I need to be back in my house before 7 a.m. So I've got to get that right. In the last challenge, it was obviously the different type of training, the strength training. I had to, as I said, I watched the videos and I had to learn the technique. So that was new for me. It was winter. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't easy. The first 8 weeks I did in my garage at home. I've just got a little bench set up with a pull-up bar and a barbell, etc. A humble setup. But waking up in the morning to doing that and not always being sure if I'm doing it right. I suppose was just getting over that confidence that I am doing it right. I feel like, I am seeing changes, so I can't be getting it wrong. Yeah.
And I mean, you've already gone through this bit, but I think I'd like to just for you to say it again. Like, how has your life changed since you've been involved in the challenge? What kind of things have come out of it for you?
Just so confident, so much more confident now. As I said, just being able to walk into a commercial gym and just feel like I've got this, like I feel part of that community already. That Facebook page, there were so many days where I was feeling, it wasn't just smooth sailing for 12 weeks. There were days where it was cold and it was dark when I'd wake up to train. It was pouring with rain, and I did my sort of circuit, the 30-second 5-round circuits on my garden beds outside my garage because that was the height I needed. Wow. And I'd be like, with a rain hoodie on and just getting it done. And I would see a post just before I started my workout from someone over east who's 2 hours ahead, and they were in the dark and they were in the rain outside a gym. They're driven there, and I'm thinking, you're at home, you just rolled out your bed and get on with it. So that Facebook page is amazing for the support. Yeah. It's just, so much encouragement from there. But for me, I just feel just dressing differently in terms of, I feel confident in anything I wear now, or most things. Still not a bikini, but we'll get there hopefully. But just renewed lease of life. I really do feel like I want to be a great example for my daughters. Yeah. I wasn't for, a while. And so with my eating habits, etc. So I just want to get them the best shot at adulthood and just continue this pathway.
Are they super proud of you?
They are actually. And they always say, if there's any kind of treat or if we go anywhere, they're like, Mum will never have that. She's got a challenge, that's just like a thing.
I completely relate to that. So that's probably one of the most valuable things, apart from obviously your own transformation, but also just to be able to pass it on to your daughters in that positive way is so good. Because I think any time that you can empower yourself around food as well and explain that food doesn't control you. You can control what goes on. You know, you can understand food, you can understand the values of food, and it's up to you how you put that together in your life rather than having to deprive yourself of absolutely everything all the time. I think it's a good lesson for our kids, and also just about strength and how valuable that is. Strength training.
Absolutely. Yes.
For our daughters. Now, when you got top 10, where were you and how did you react? Tell me all about that.
Well, because I'm in Perth, it was 5:30 and I finished work at 5. So I raced home. And I will tell you, a few weeks before the challenge, my husband was in this year and Laura was in this year. You're making top 10. You're making top 10. And I was like, no way. I honestly looked at that video or the passage about everything you need to know about the challenge before the challenge. I kind of didn't read that before the challenge. So the prizes and that sort of, honestly, the prizes and all those sorts of details were not something I'd even really familiarized myself with. I knew it's a competition, but it was nothing absolutely I thought this is what I'm going to try and achieve.
Yeah.
By week 9 or 10, the photos were looking quite different. And I was thinking, one day if I could, when they were in my ear about you're going to make top 10, I was like, if I had to make top 50, I'd really be happy. But guys, you're kind of making me shy. You're putting me under pressure. Stop. Both of them are just on it all the time. You're making top 10. The changes are phenomenal that we're seeing. They were just praising it. It pushed me to push myself harder without that expectation, but just that I was feeling so good about how much compliments, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so on the evening, I raced home from work, just got in, and I had the Lasso squad with Laura and Sue on a video chat. There was about 10 of us. So that myself and a few of the other ladies that made the top 50, we were all in the same chat. So I just got in, flustered, got on the video chat, and a few minutes in it started. And then, I was just literally jumping around in my lounge and just screaming, and it was just amazing. Like, I honestly did not expect that. I was blown away by that. So even when I saw the top 50 pics, I was like, whoa, there's so much abs there in those pictures. Like, everyone's just so ripped. And I got my mum tum, and I tried really hard to firm up everywhere. But I was looking and I was thinking it was phenomenal to be called out in the top 10.
That is so awesome.
In a bit of awe.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It makes me so happy. I'm so happy to hear that. Oh, it's a best story. So what advice, Carmen, would you give to other challengers that are now doing the 6-week challenge? They might be taking progress photos. They may or may not be seeing any progress. What advice would you give?
I would say the most important thing for me would be, if we're not set up properly for day to day, I don't think you're going to get much success no matter, I think the meal prepping or being organized and knowing at least for 2 days, I never not know for 2 days in advance what every single meal is going to be and every single snack. I work full time. I've got, as I say, 2 girls in school and a house to run and a husband, and it's full on gym every morning type of thing. If we're not organized, I think it will be a challenge in itself, an extra stress. And that in the past for me, I know this has been a long journey for me. So I know where I've fallen down, not just in the 12-week challenge, but even prior to that, is not being organized. And then just the habits, if we going to set our alarm and we're going to commit to that, and also just get more involved on that Facebook page, because the more we sort of, I myself will put my hand up and say how shy I was in the beginning. I think I only posted a few weeks in, but midway of the challenge, my first post or something, but getting involved, and people are so supportive in there. Like, if you're struggling on your own, I can imagine what it must be in lockdown, no gyms, etc. Just put yourself out there, be vulnerable. I haven't seen anything negative. It's just amazing, the support that's on there and the responses. And it's, as I say, real people who've done this for years and years and know what they're talking about. So get involved, get prepared, and start making good habits like setting that alarm and committing to getting there and doing your exercise.
Yeah, I really love that. I think success has to be a result of habit forming. It needs to just be constant until one day you just turn around and realize how hard you've worked and what you've done, but it's just the day-to-day stuff. It's that organization. I can tell you now, my husband's sick of me having the lists of what need to be done, but to be successful, to have that vision, you need that organization. You can't have chaos. You need to be focused and on the straight and narrow, especially when you've got kids and a full-time job and everything like that. I mean, 100%. It's funny because for us, I think, training, it's like our time out and a treat, but it's like the thing that makes us tick. So, I bet you wouldn't trade the gym for the world now.
Not at all. Yeah. And when I look at my workout clothes, it's almost outnumbering. Like I get so excited even just to buy workout clothes now. It's just like a thing. Yeah. It's
you are speaking my language.
Yes. And it's just like something a few years ago that was like, not even on my priorities. And now it's just, I love it. I love, even on some mornings, I get up and not feeling like, I saw a post the other day talking about weekdays, WEAK. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. It's not only me. People have weekdays. And so I related to that. And that's why I say you just got to get involved in that community and learn so much from all these amazing people that are doing this for years and years and know what they're talking about. Like, that on that day, it's not just you, or you're not being lazy, or you're not pushing yourself hard. It's just a weekday.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it for, or how strong you are, or what you're doing, if you've competed before, whatever you've done. I'm telling you now, every single day, you're not going to be necessarily motivated. 99% of the time when you go into the gym, you're like, oh gosh, I just want to get this done. And then when you start, you go, oh, I love this.
Absolutely.
That's everybody. And so to be able to recognize that and be part of a community where everyone supports each other, that's pretty much all you need. You need to be around others. Humans need that. But yeah, you look like a bodybuilder, Carmen, now, like in a good way.
Thank you. I will tell you just a little. My father was a professional bodybuilder. I don't know if that's genetic, but he competed in his early years, and unfortunately he passed away before I even got on my weight loss journey, etc. But I don't know if that's something that's maybe just in me.
I think it is. I think it's a part of him coming through. So that's really beautiful, really, really beautiful. Yeah, you can see in the flow of your body and the symmetry that will be coming through, especially with when the legs develop and things. I mean, you look A1. So I can't wait for the next version of Carmen,
Same.
Yeah,
we'll keep chipping at it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to, as I say, it's not just 6 weeks, or I can't say I'm looking forward to the next 6 or 12 or 3 months. I'm just looking forward to Maxine's lifestyle. It's truly phenomenal. It really is life-changing.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for chatting today, Carmen. I know a lot of people are going to listen to this and just be so inspired by your story. So I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to me today.
Thanks. It's been lovely to chat. Thanks, Vic.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you like the show, share it with a friend or leave us a review on iTunes to help us spread the good word. See you next time.